Hello everybody, chamber strings. That's what I'm talking about today. I'm talking about how you write for chamber strings, particularly using samples, and we're going to be looking at a brand new library from East West Quantum Leap called Hollywood Strings 2. This is their first chamber strings library, and cut to the chase, it's really good. Now remember, if you want to learn about writing music and all that kind of thing, ThinkSpace Education is the place to come. Just Google ThinkSpace courses and you'll find lots and lots, a whole world of knowledge waiting for you. So Google ThinkSpace courses and see what we've got to offer. Right, moving on. Let's move straight into Hollywood Strings. Here it is. What you get is first violins, second violins, basses, cello, violas, and full strings. What I should say probably before we get into this, what do we mean by chamber strings? A full orchestral string section has anything between 40 and 60 people in it. And the way you describe the size of a section is in 5 numbers. You'll go 16, 14, 10, 10, 5. That means 16 firsts, whatever I said, 14 seconds, 10 violas, 10 cello, and 5 basses. And those kind of proportions tend to stack up. So you have slightly more first violins than second violins. Violas and cellos are slightly less than violins, and normally the basses are roughly half the number of cello you have. Now, in the world of chamber music, we're talking more like a string section of about 20. So for example, the numbers might be 6, 6, 4, 4, 2. So you have 6 firsts, 6 seconds, 4 violas, 4 cello, and 2 basses. Now with Hollywood Strings 2, let's get the web page up, then you can see it. They've gone for, what is it, 6, 4, 4, 4, 3. So it's slightly heavier on the basses and slightly lighter on the second violins. And it's recorded in their in a perfectly nice looking studio, the East West Studio 2. I'm trying to find a picture of it for you. Hang on, if I keep strolling like that, you'll all get motion sickness. But it's the sound of a string library is almost as much the sound of the room. And so it's absolutely vital that you get the right ambience. And East West's room is a really good size and it sounds great, basically. Right, why would you want to use a chamber string section when you could use an absolutely mega massive, absolutely enormous one? Because in the sample world, you can have as many strings as you like. You get a sort of focus, you get a sort of edginess and intimacy, and particularly with action, you get a sort of grittiness out of the smaller section, which you sometimes lose with the blurriness of the symphonic strings. So if we, for example, go in here and listen to the, this is violin. You see what I mean? It's got a kind of, so it's got that kind of edge to it, which you don't get with, if that was 16 violins, it wouldn't sound anything like that. So that, and when you go with the legatos and things like that, you hear almost the individual instruments. So it's a very, very different sound. It's a more modern sound in a way. If you listen to, an awful lot of soundtracks, which, right up there, and people go, oh, isn't it wonderful, and all the rest of it. A lot of them are using much smaller string sections because it's more focused and it's a more contemporary style, and it's more affordable because you're only paying 20 string players as opposed to 60. Right, what we'll do, rather than give you the sort of I'll give you a very brief walkthrough and then we'll just dive in and start writing stuff, I think. Okay, so here we go. This is what it looks like. You get three colours. You get epic, which has got huge reverb on it. You get soft, which has got a little tiny bit of consordino. And you get classic. Now, interestingly, the controls are slightly different to those you may be used to on other instruments. In other instruments, the mod wheel, as you push it forward, not only increases volume, but increases vibrato. That has never been the Hollywood Strings way. What they do is they have vibrato and dynamic on two separate faders. This is CC11 expression, and it goes through so this controls dynamics. It's not just making it louder and softer, it's actually going through the dynamic layers. This is CC1, essentially the mod wheel, which is vibrato. Now, this means, for those of you who are very fond of using your left hand for this, means you're probably going to have to do two passes, because you're going to have to do a pass where you control the vibrato with the mod wheel, and a pass where you then go through with a pencil, or overdubbing so you control the volume as well. That's the way it works. Here we go. Let's just continue our little romp through. So what you get a whole load of different longs. Let me just get that so that you can actually see it a bit better. There we go. Look, you get a whole load of longs. You get a détaché, stacks. That's quite a good one. Look. It gives you a sort of little kind of edge on the front, and then a sustain, espressivo, sus full, which is a normal sus, sus rep, and then sus molto, which is extremely molto, as you can hear. So now the other interesting thing, up here in the description, this panel here tells you what all the controls do. So velocity controls are three dynamic lane dynamics of staccato is CC11, etc., etc., etc. So all the details are up there if you need to dive in and see what they are. Really good stuff going on in here are the mic positions, of which there are loads. So the standard mix comes with your main, which I presume is some kind of tree, and a close-up mic. So that's what you got down there. If you want a bit more room to it, you can add the surrounds. Take a bit of the close out. Get more room. Being a chamber section, being a relatively a smaller room. I mean by smaller, I mean not like Abbey Road. But kind of, you've got, you can really hear the difference between these things. So look, enough, I'm not going to go to all the details of the Opus Play, which is, since it started out as Play, little by little, it's been getting better and better, and now it's really good. Not something you would have said 10 years ago, or whenever it started. Anyway, look, let's just do a very quick bit of kind of messing about with this so that you get some idea of what it sounds like in action. Let's start with our friend. You know me. When it comes to sussing out libraries, I want to know what the violas sound like. Right, got one enormous stuck note there. Anyway, so that is a little bit of, let me have a look what that was, viola staccato. Their spiccato is quite edgy, and so I've tended to use more staccato. Their staccatos are quite short, so. Okay, now let's put a little bass underneath maybe. That is nice. I was talking to a friend about pizzicato bass yesterday, and this has got a nice ring to it. Okay, let's get rid of that really, really annoying false start. Why did I start everything on beat 3? Beat 3 is not where this should be. So I'm going to flippy flop it back. Oh, there we go. Everybody starts at the right place now. Right, what am I going to do on the top? Oh, I don't know what I'm writing here, but anyway. Right, what type of... That is the... Okay, all VS, whatever that might mean. Let's see. It's probably a combo legato. Okay, look, so far so good. Let's turn the click off. You also get a couple of these ensemble patches. I know how much you love ensemble patches. Darren in Sydney, wake up. I know it's the middle of the night, wake up. I'm talking about ensemble patches. Yes, okay. Melissa in Detroit, pay attention. Sounds nice to me. It's a good thing I didn't record that, so I can deny, oh no, I never play as badly as that. No, I think you'll find I'm rather good. Anyway, look, I think you get the gist of what's going on here. Look, Hollywood Strings, therefore, it comes as part of Composer Cloud Plus. So if you're a subscriber, it's a no-brainer. So what do we think of all this? The original Hollywood Strings came out a long time ago. It was the first next generation library, which had all the bells and whistles and everything else. Consequently, it is enormous. It requires, a supercomputer sort of cooled by liquid nitrogen just to run. No, it doesn't. But originally, I went to Thomas Bergeson's studio at Remote Control, and he had a Mac Pro for each section of his orchestra. That's what Nick and Doug Rogers and Thomas Bergeson sort of created the first Hollywood Strings, and it was absolutely amazing. But it did require industrial strength computers to run. Still does, to be honest. It's quite a beefy. This is a bit lighter on the palette. Lighter on the computer resources, and nowadays you can purge and all kinds of exciting things inside Opus. So it's a much lighter, more modern piece of programming as well. And the actual sound is great. Look, it's really good. You can hear it, it's dead easy to work with. I wouldn't be without a chamber string library, and this one's a really good one. I use chamber strings probably 10 times as much as I use the big symphonic ones. It just gives more edge, more realism, and strangely, particularly with action and stuff like that, it sounds bigger in a weird way than the big symphonic stuff. So look, it's part of the East-West Composer Cloud. So if you're a subscriber, download it, have fun. It's not absolutely humongous. It's about, I think, 150 gigabytes. It's not absolutely humongous. My first Akai S900 had, 16 megabytes of RAM. So it's pretty big by those standards. But by the standards of some things today, it's not so huge. So look, I hope you found that useful, and it's given you some ideas of how to work with chamber strings in your, whether you're using Hollywood Strings 2 or whatever else. Do go and check out ThinkSpace Education, ThinkSpace courses. You can Google and it'll tell you exciting things like our upcoming open day for our postgrad courses. So if you want to do this really professionally and move into film and games composition or orchestration for a living, or sound design for games, or creative music production, all these things we do, really great master's programs for. Exactly the kind of thing I would have done if they existed when I first started doing this a long time ago. That's all for today. See you very soon. Bye-bye.